Good day, everyone. Today, we are going to present to you our midterm project, which talks about the ICT tools evaluation. Now, let's get started. Today's agenda, we are going to first evaluate ICT tools based on different criteria. Second one is we are going to have a comparative analysis of each tools. And the third one is for us to know its applications of each tools in education. Now, let's define first what is an ICT tools. As defined by the United Nations, ICT tools is a diverse set of technological tools and resources used to communicate, create, disseminate, or store and manage informations. So it's in education, having an ICT tools in which we can help communicate with students, create different presentations so that we can disseminate information, store important informations for students, and also to manage information for students. It is very important to have an ICT tools since we are now in a modern era in which the use of technology is very rampant. Now, let's discuss the first one ICT tools, which is the PhET simulations. I think you are all familiar with what is PhET simulation is, especially if you are a science student. But first, let me tell you the definition of a PhET simulation. PhET simulation is an interactive platform providing virtual science and mathematics simulations. It was developed by the University of Colorado Boulder, and it has been found to be highly effective in lectures, class activities, especially lab work and homework assignments. So in PhET simulation, it incorporates design with minimal text, and also PhET simulations are accessible and easily integrated into all aspects of a course. So PhET simulation is very important and useful, especially if you don't have the necessary ingredients or necessary equipment to conduct an experiment. So you can just visit a particular website and then you can perform an experiment without physical presence of the materials. So it is very good, especially in remote areas or like whenever there's a kind of inconvenience during class hours or like you will have just in online classes, then you can still conduct a PhET simulation activity or an experiment or lab work activities even if you are not in school. Now, let's evaluate PhET simulation based on different criteria. First is usability. PhET simulations are intuitive, easy to navigate, and require minimal instructions. They support various devices or device formats, making them accessible in different learning environments. So whether you are in home, at school, or wherever you are, you can access through a particular website. So you can access the PhET simulations. So it is also easy to navigate. You just browse it on Google's, and then you will be directly get into the website or in the link, and you can access since it also has a kind of a set of like instructions that are easy to understand for students. So when it comes to usability, PhET simulations are good and easy to navigate. And for the second criteria, we have engagement and interactivity. So the interactive nature of simulations keeps students engaged, enhancing their understanding of scientific concept through direct manipulations. So PhET simulations is also a very interactive and engaging type of ICT tools. So as it includes or as it includes different lab experiments, so you can conduct lab experiments in the PhET simulation. So even if the students are not in the particular laboratory or in a physical laboratory, you can still experience the same form of activity in a virtual experiment, and you can still observe different things that can also you can still have a first-hand experience of those things even if you are in a virtual experiment. Now for the third criteria, we have accessibility and inclusivity. So for information of everybody, PhET simulations are free and available online. It supports multiple languages in a variety of devices, ensuring diverse learners can access the content. So when it comes to accessibility, we can just easily not just to navigate but also to access PhET simulation in different websites, and also it is or it can be or it can support multiple languages, so not just for Filipino students but also all students around the globe. For the fourth criteria, we have a fifth criteria rather, we have the collaboration features. So what is the collaboration features of a PhET simulations? Well, PhET simulations lack built-in collaboration tools, but still it can be integrated with LMS platform and classroom discussion to facilitate teamwork. So since PhET simulations are like one devices per person, so it doesn't really integrate collaboration features. But if you will conduct it as a group, like for example, you're in a classroom, but still you cannot go to the laboratory, then you can still conduct PhET simulation of the experiments as a group. Then you will just use one devices, but as a group, you can still work on its. You can still explore, navigate PhET simulation as a group. And for the last criteria is that we have the cost and sustainability. And as what I have said earlier, PhET simulation is completely free and open source, making it accessible to all educational institutions without financial barriers. So unlike any other website that needs a premium accounts, so PhET simulation is completely free. So you will be there's nothing or there's no need for you to waste money or to pay for its access. So it is completely free, easy to navigate, and accessible to all educational institutions. Now let's proceed to the strengths and weaknesses of the PhET simulations. So for its strengths, we highlighted that PhET simulation is highly interactive, visually engaging, cost-free, and applicable across various science disciplines. And for weakness of the PhET simulation, we have identified that it has limited built-in collaboration tools, and some advanced simulations are required additional software support. And for the applications or the educational applications of PhET simulation, so PhET simulation supports PBL or the public-based learning by enabling the students to experiment with scientific models real time, fostering critical thinking and hypothesis testing. Also, it encourages inquiry-based learning by allowing students to manipulate variables and observe outcomes, reinforcing scientific concepts in physics, chemistry, or in biology. And also, PhET simulation provides a risk-free environment for conducting experiments that may be too dangerous, costly, or impractical in a traditional classroom. Now, let's proceed to the second ICT tools, which is the YouTube. YouTube is a globally recognized video sharing platform that provides an extensive library of educational videos, lectures, and tutorials. So it serves as a powerful resources for both teachers and students by offering a wide range of science-related content, including experiments, demonstrations, expert lectures, and animated explanations of complex scientific concept. So in YouTube, it provides you a very broad resources in which you can watch experiments, you can watch videos explaining a certain concept, and also different scientific concepts, there are a lots of resources or videos that will help you learn about those concepts, and that is free to watch on YouTube. Now, to evaluate the importance of YouTube, now let's evaluate YouTube based on different criteria. So first, for usability. So YouTube is simple and widely used platforms accessible via mobile and desktop, making it easy for both educators and students to navigate. So in terms of usability, YouTube's are also easy to navigate. So you just input YouTube on your Google browser, and then you will be directly into the YouTube application. And also, it has features that is accessible and easy to navigate. Even a child can access YouTube without hassle. And for the second evaluation criteria, we have the engagement and interactivity. So YouTube is highly engaging with comment sections for discussion, allowing students to ask questions and interact with content creators. So if you are someone watching an online discussion, so YouTube has its comment sections in which you can ask questions to the presenter, so allowing for an engagement and also interactive discussion, not just for the students alone, but also for the one who discusses the concept or particular concept or topic. Now, for the third criteria, we have alignment with learning objectives. So, it facilitates PBL or problem-based learning by providing a real-world scientific demonstrations and case studies. So, you can still meet or align the use of YouTube to your learning objectives. And for the fourth criteria, we have the accessibility and inclusivity. So again, it is free access to educational content. However, it requires a stable internet connection, which may limit availability in areas with poor connectivity. But I guess most of the students are have access to Wi-Fi connection, so it is easier to easier to access YouTube as long as you have an internet connection. And also, it is inclusive on different age. So even if you're a child, an adult, you can access YouTube efficiently. For the next criteria, we have the collaboration features. Limited direct collaboration, however, educators can create a playlist and assign videos for structured learning experiences. So since, as we all know that YouTube has a broad topics now, so broad topics are a lot of videos. So when it in terms of collaboration, it lacks collaboration features since you cannot access YouTube as a group, no? So you can just access it with one devices, but still you can work together as a group to navigate or to search or to watch together informations provided in the or discussed in YouTube. And for the last criteria, which is the cost and sustainability, again, YouTube is free to use. Also, there are premium versions that removes ads and offers offline viewing, which can be beneficial for uninterrupted learning. So, in terms of cost and sustainability, YouTube are free. But if you want to have an experience in which a good experience, you can still avail its premium version. So if you are a person nga dili gusto madisturbo, so you can remove ads or you can watch YouTube videos without ads if you will avail the premium version. But still, if you don't avail the premium version, you can still access those videos because again, it is accessible and free to all. Now, let's discuss the strengths and weaknesses of YouTube. So for its strengths, we have highlighted there that extensive resources library, user-friendly interface, supports self-paced learning, and allows access to a global network of educators and experts. So that is one of the most um, important part of having a YouTube application. No, it supports self-paced learning. So I believe that some of us prefer to study or to watch online videos alone. So it supports self-paced learning, and at the same time, it allows us to access a global network of educators and experts. So it doesn't limit us to just one concept explained by a certain country, but we can access global um, network with different perspectives from other experts. And for the weakness of a YouTube, we have highlighted there that it requires internet or strong internet connection to access for a full functionality. And also, quality of content varies depending on the creator, requiring educators to carefully select credible sources. So that is what we identified as weakness. So it needs a strong internet connection, and also the content depends on the creator. As for the educational application, YouTube provides access to a diverse range of science-related instructional videos. It also supports flipped classroom strategies by allowing students to watch lessons at their own pace. Again, as what I've said, it supports self-paced learning. And the third one, it enhances visual learning through high-quality animations and demonstrations of scientific concepts. Now, we are down to the third ICT tools, which is the Canva. Canva is an online graphic design platform that allows users to create visually engaging and professional quality educational content. So it provides templates, design elements, and collaborative features that enables teachers and students to develop presentations, infographics, mind maps, and science-related posters. So I believe that each and every one of us already know what is Canva, and we also have an account in Canva, since it is very convenient for us as students to create different presentations even if we are using a mobile phone. Now let's evaluate Canva based on different criteria. First is its usability. So Canva is a user-friendly interface with drag and drop functionality, making it easy for beginners to create professional-looking content. So if you are a beginner and you wanted to create professional-looking content and you don't have the necessary or like laptops or computers, still you can use Canva using your mobile phone, and still you can still create professional looking presentations. And for engagement and interactivity, it encourages students to actively participate in the creations. So you can access Canva. You can access the link. You can access Canva as a group. So it fosters, or aside from the engagement and interactivity, you can access Canva as a group, making it ideal to finish your work easily and efficiently. And also you can add features in Canva. You can add videos or animated presentations, or GIF that will help your presentations becomes more engaging. And for the third criteria, we have here the alignment with learning objectives. So by the use of Canva, it also supports the project-based learning through visualization of scientific concepts and enhances creativity in assignments. So we have here in Canva different elements that in which you can add videos, short videos, or animated or 3D pictures. So it helps, or it supports project-based learning, and it enhances creativity of your presentation. And for the fourth criteria, we have here the accessibility and inclusivity. So it is available online and on mobile apps. It just requires internet access for full functionality of this application. The same with YouTube, you can access Canva as long as you have a strong internet connection. And for the collaboration features, again, it allows team-based project creation and editing, making it useful for group projects. So if you have projects in nagdali mo, gusto mo mahuman siya dayon, then you can work as a group since it allows team-based project creation. And for the last criteria, we have the cost and sustainability. So we have free version available with basic features. However, premium versions unlock additional na mga features that is nindot siya gamiton as for the students to help your presentation becomes more creative. So if you want to have a more creative presentations, then you can avail the premium version. But still, there are free versions available when it comes to Canva. And now, let's discuss the strengths and weaknesses of Canva. So Canva is an excellent tool for promoting creativity and engagement in science education by allowing students to design interactive and visually appealing materials. Also, it provides a wide range of templates, so mga available templates and design elements that supports effective communication of scientific concepts. So, isa sa strength sa Canva is dili na ka-need nga mag-design, mag-layout og mga templates because there are provided na mga templates, na free nga templates in which buhaton na lang nimo is to add information. We also identified weakness of Canva. So, considering that Canva is highly beneficial for visual learning, some of its advanced features required paid subscription. So, malang dito siya nga, yung mga kanang, if you wanted your output to become more creative, so it requires na nga mga advanced features that requires paid subscription. Also, it relies on an internet connection for full functionality, which may be a limitation for users with limited access to online resources. So, if wala kay load, dili ka maka-access sa Canva. Now, what is the educational applications of Canva? So, designing visually appealing learning materials such as lab reports, scientific posters, and concepts maps. So, pwede ka makabuhat ng mga concepts map, poster, and even scientific reports using Canva. Also, it encourages students' creativity and engagement in project-based learning assignments. It also provides tools for infographic creation, simplify complex scientific data, and also allows the teachers to create visually structured lesson plans. And it enhances collaborative learning by enabling multiple users to edit and contribute to a single project. So that is the educational applications of Canva. And now for the last ICT tools, we have the Microsoft Office. Let's evaluate Microsoft Office based on different criteria. So first, when it comes to usability, Microsoft Office provides a familiar and user-friendly interface across its applications, making it easy for educators and students to create, edit, and share documents, spreadsheets, and presentations. When it comes to its engagement and interactivity, so while primarily used for documentation and presentations, features such as interactive charts, and let's say mga interactive charts, also especially in Excel, and multimedia integration in PowerPoint, it enhances student engagement. So, if you want to have an engagement and interactive presentation that still follow a professional professional good nga setup or like professional na template or professional looking na mga presentations, then it is provided, or Microsoft Office offers this kind of features. As for the third criteria, we have there the alignment with learning objectives. So the suite supports science learning by facilitating structured documentation, data analysis, and professional presentations. Also, that aligns also with the project-based learning and inquiry-based learning approaches. Now, when it comes to the accessibility, and inclusivity, Microsoft Office is available across various devices and operating system. It ensures accessibility. However, some advanced features requires an internet connection and a paid subscription. So, Microsoft Office or Microsoft Suite are all available or like commonly used in computers, laptops, so we can access it for free. But also, if you want to experience advanced features of it, then um, some Microsoft Office or some Microsoft applications requires not just a strong internet connection but also paid subscription. And for the fifth criteria, which is the collaboration features, so ang Microsoft Office, nasa siya yung mga tools like for example, OneDrive and SharePoint that enables a real-time collaboration, allowing multiple users to work on documents simultaneously, promoting teamwork and shared research. For example, say, natin mga offline na application like Microsoft Excel. Pero karon na lang po tayo ginatawag nga Google Sheet in which kanang pwede na po siya, it supports team-based na po nga project good, or like you can collaborate with other members of the group using one lang link or one output. So that's for the collaboration features sa Microsoft Office. And in terms of cost and sustainability, so while Microsoft offers powerful tools, mo lang jud need jud og paid subscription for you to experience those advanced na mga features and also for full functionality, which may be a limitation for institutions or students with limited resources. But still, nindot gyapon siya since gamit mo jud kayo ang Microsoft Office, especially for us as an educators. Now, let's proceed to the strength and weaknesses of Microsoft Office. So we have highlighted the strengths of the Microsoft Office. So it provides a robust tools for documentation, data analysis, and presentations. It supports teamwork through cloud-based collaboration tools like OneDrive and SharePoint, and also it ensures a high compatibility across devices and platforms. And for weakness, it requires a paid subscription for full access, which may be costly for some students or institutions. Some features need an internet connection for cloud-based collaboration. So, muna nyo naman identify nga weakness sa Microsoft Office is need yun niya og paid subscription to access those advanced mga features niya. And as for the educational application, so it enables students to draft and format detailed science reports using magamit og Microsoft Words, professional documentation of findings, and also it supports data collection and analysis through Microsoft Excel, allowing students to organize and interpret experimental data. So, mo yun isa nga very beneficial to us as students to kana Microsoft Excel since it easy na lang sa tuwa ba to organize, especially maghimo og class record. So, mas dali na lang para sa students and para sa teacher nga kanang mag-record og mga class record, and also kanang makuha na nimo ang results ba, and also if you are conducting a research, so i-type lang po nimo dito ang mga datas, then easy ra kaayo siya nga maka-provide dayon og mga graph or kanang graph ng mga presentation to support your experimental data. So ingana ang applications of Microsoft Office in education. So daghan siya gamit in education jud. It's very beneficial. And now let's proceed to the comparative analysis of each of the application or the ICT tools nga ato ang mentioned earlier. Now, let's proceed to the comparative analysis between the different ICT tools that we have discussed earlier. As you can see, we have here a table between the PhET simulation and the YouTube alongside with the different criteria. And also, for the second table, we have here the table for the comparison analysis between Canva and Microsoft Office. As you can see on the screen, we have ranked the different ICT tools based on the data that we have gathered as we conducted a short interview for the teachers and also for a short survey for the students. So we have here the rank one, which is the YouTube, followed by Canva, then followed by Microsoft Office, and lastly the PhET simulations. We have also here a graph between the data that we have collected on a short survey, since we have conducted a very short survey to the science students about about the rate, or we asked them to rate the different ICT tools based on the criteria provided, and this is the results of the data that we have gathered. In conclusion, ICT tools enhance science teaching by making learning interactive, engaging, and accessible. They help students visualize complex concepts, conduct virtual experiments, and explore scientific ideas beyond textbooks. By integrating multimedia simulations and digital assessments, ICT fosters critical thinking and personalized learning. It also enables real-time feedback and collaboration, making science education more effective and dynamic, embracing ICT in teaching and preparing students for a technology driven that bridges the gap between theory and practical application. And that would be all. Thank you.